Greetings, Namo Buddhaya. I am K.T.S. Sarao, Professor and former head of the Department Buddhist Studies, Delhi University. In this module number 8, I shall be talking to you about the origin and development of the Saṃgha, the Buddhist order. The Buddhist monastic order, which is called Saṃgha in Pali and Sanskrit, is a part of Triple Gem along with the Buddha and the Dhamma. It was founded by the Buddha at the deer park at Sarnath near Varanasi after the delivery of the first sermon. In the early Buddhist literature, the term Saṃgha connotes mainly to the organization of monks, nuns and novices, and these were called Chattaro Parisa, fourfold assembly. Though the Buddha had no intention to establish any organization, but growth in the number of his disciples, the probability of the transgression of dharma by his disciples, and the pre-existence of the contemporary religious organization, Gana, drove him to form an organization. The Saṃgha began with the ordination of 5 ascetics known as the Panchvagya Bhikkhu. A few days later, Yas, the son of a merchant of Varanasi, his 54 friends, including Vimal, Subahu, Puranjit and Gavampati, became disciples of the Buddha. With this, the number of ordained and emancipated monks grew to 61, and thus the Saṃgha for the monks came into existence. The Buddha exhorted them to wander in all directions to preach the Dharma for the welfare and happiness of many, with the direction that no two of them would go in the same direction. And the Buddha went himself towards Uruvela. On the way, he administered ordination to the 30 youths in a grove that he met. At Uruvela and Sinani Nigam, he granted ordination to Kashyap brothers Uruvela, Nadi and Gaya Kassab with their disciples. At Rajgraha, he conferred ordination on Sariput and Moglan, the disciples of an ascetic named Sanjay Vilathiputra. From Rajgraha, he, along with his disciples, visited his native land Kapilvastu on the invitation of his father Shuddhodhan. At Kapilvastu, the Buddha asked Sariputta to confer ordination on his son Rahul, who was asking him for his inheritance Dayaj. During this journey, certain other Shakyas were also granted ordination. Notable among them were Devadatta, Ananda, Anuruddha, Upali, Bhadya, Bhagu and Kimbil. The last person ordained by the Buddha was Subhadda, an old Malla gentleman. It has been mentioned in the Chullavagga of the Vinay Pitak that with the reluctance and after the intercession of his attendant Ananda, the Buddha established the Bhikkhuni Saṃgha, the order of nuns, in the 5th year of his righteous wayfaring, that is Dharma Yatra at Vaishali, with certain conditions to be followed essentially by the nuns. These conditions, known as Atgaru Dhamma, 8 weighty rules, entail that a nun, whether she has 100 years of standing in the order, must show respect to a bhikkhu, ordained even that day, and must not pass Varshavas in a monastery where there are no bhikkhus. Has to ascertain every fortnight from a bhikkhu the date of Uposat and fix the day for bhikkhu's exhortation, Ovad, to the nuns must perform pavarana in respect of three matters seen, heard and suspected. First in the Bhikkhu Saṃgha and again in the Bhikkhuni Saṃgha, must take manat, discipline, first from the Bhikkhu Saṃgha and thereafter from the Bhikkhuni Saṃgha, should seek upasampada from both the Saṃghas, monks order and nuns order, one after another, after training in the 6 Pachitya rules of the Bhikkhuni Patimok, must not revile a monk and must not admonish a monk or fix for the monks any date for upasampada or pavarana. In addition to these, the nuns were to observe all the Sikkhapadas prescribed for the monks and were prohibited from using bathing or beauty powders, fancy girdles, having massage, standing at door, peeping out of balcony windows, engaging servant and using colorful robes and bodices, etc. In the beginning, there was no standard rule to grant ordination in the Saṃgha, the Buddha conferring ordination upasampada on the 5 ascetics by simply saying, "Come, O monks, well taught is the doctrine, lead a holy life for the sake of complete extinction of suffering." And he granted ordination to a single person such as Kaundinya and Angulimal by uttering, "Ehi Bhikkhu, come O monk," and more than one persons such as Vapra and Bhadreya, Mahanam and Aswajit by saying, "Et Bhikkhavo, come O monks." Evidence shows that the Buddha, though sent the earliest 61 monks in different directions to preach Dharma for the welfare and happiness of many, but they were not authorized to administer ordination to anyone. The persons who wanted to be ordained, after hearing the Buddha's solemn teaching from his disciples' mouth, were brought from far off places before the Buddha for their ordination. This caused immense problem to both the monks and the persons wanting to be ordained. Realizing this problem, the Buddha permitted the monks to confer ordination to such persons in their respective places without bringing them to the Buddha himself, and made a provision that the persons who wanted to be ordained shave off their head hair and beard, don yellow robes, adjust the upper robe to cover one shoulder, salute the feet of the monks with his head, sit down squatting, and then raising his joined hands, declare thrice to take refuge in the triple gems, the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Saṃgha, such as, "I take my refuge in the Buddha, I take my refuge in the Dharma, I take my refuge in the Saṃgha." This provision was called going to triple refuge. Because of the provision of going to triple refuge, the Buddhist order grew by leaps and bounds and also brought forth certain problems in the Saṃgha which were reported to the Buddha. And he promulgated a number of rules to avert their occurrence or reoccurrence in the future and to ensure proper governance in the Saṃgha.